छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन है छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन
All right, music has ended. I'm getting my candle. Well, the candle's lit, but we're going to get the usual, the sage and the cedar and all that good stuff. So we got to get the smoke going. We got to smoke it up just a little bit here. All right, we got work to do. Welcome, welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. And this is the star room during the day. All right, we read astrology charts. It's first come, first serve. Get your digits to me if you haven't been here before. Birth time, birth date, birth city, birth state. Yep, need the birth time and location. Those are important. And we will take a look at your chart. Speed readings, free readings. Got it? Speed readings, free readings. For those who send a channel gift, they get more time spent on their chart. Just so everybody understands. And then I do offer those people the ability to have the link and to come on so that we can talk through their chart with them. All right. So we are going to start this off. Oh, yeah. There's two formats. There's a vertical and a horizontal in case anybody's not familiar. Can everybody hear me before I go any further? I always forget to ask that question. Sometimes the damn microphone turns off sometimes, or the StreamYard thing. I don't know how that happens, but it does. All right, everybody, anybody? Can somebody hear me? Okay, Watkinson Cat House sent me email. Great. Okay. You can send digits by email. The email's right on the screen, but you got to show up in the chat so we know what order and who goes next. Thank you, Nana. Thank you so much. Awesome. Okay, so we do this usually, it's a surprise live, pretty much whenever I can. But lately, we've been also able to do this on Tuesday afternoons. So it's like every other Saturday night where we do the live. And the other Saturdays where we do like an astrology class. And we do a private live. So this Saturday night is a private live, hence we're live today so that we could try to help some folks out. All right, so we are starting off with teamwork. She was the first one in the chat. She did already send an email. So we're going to be taking a look. 4-day stay. Woohoo. Good for you, Christy. A head start. All right. Who's going to be up after teamwork? Make sure we know the order. Nana said she's passing unless nobody else wants to. Unless, Christy, are you going? Or anyway, if you're in the chat, let me know if you're passing or if you're taking a turn. That way, when I'm done with teamwork, we can get to work. All right. So you can send an email if you want to send your digits privately, or you could just throw them into the chat. Again, if you're in the chat and you want to say hi, that's great. But let me know if you're passing. Okay, that helps. And we're going to start. So let me get my little comment off of there so we can kind of go like that. And we have first one up is teamwork. Teamwork is sitting there in the studio ready to go. We're going to take a look at teamwork's chart. All right, teamwork, are you ready? Are you ready? Yes. All right, let's get teamwork in here. She said she's got a question. Let's see what we got going on. All right, there you are. Hey, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, good. I can hear you. I was so like, what's going to happen with the mic? Remember last time?
Yes.
Oh my God, we spent 15 minutes. The volume wouldn't work. It was freaking Uranus burning its way into Gemini, and it was hell. It was like, God, please.
You're
So,
still in it.
yeah, it worked. I'm so glad. All right, so I can hear you, you can hear me, and let me get your chart on the screen. So, do you want to ask your question, or give us a little?
I will have surgery on June 3rd, so I want to know more or less what happens that day.
Okay, gotcha. Surgery on June 3rd. Let me get your chart into this thing. I got to figure out which chart. I got a lot of different charts here. Let's pull up your regular chart first of all, and we'll start there. And let's get that on the screen for you. So we're looking at a surgery situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the gallbladder, so I don't know which.
Yeah, that helps. That's actually a good thing to know that.
Yeah.
So gallbladder,
I can't remember which planet.
it's your 5th house. Of course it is. That's where your freaking Mars is. Yeah, 5th house. So that means like Leo energy, the sun. Yeah, 5th. I know, right? Heart,
Yeah.
but apparently gallbladder as well. There's got to be some connection there, but either way, that's the teaching, to take a look at that 5th house energy and look, that's where your freaking Mars is. That's where your Mars is. Okay, so what I did real quick is we're going to take a peek at this chart that goes and looks at the date. Let me change the time on here for you, and let's just take a look. So you can see, I know you've stared at your own chart like 1,000 times. Oh,
I'm
you
sorry about my
you
email.
don't need to do that. You did a really good job. You were very thorough. I know, because you sent me an email, so I know you were very thorough at understanding and digging out all the transits of that day. So here we are going to have Mars at 9 degrees on that day. And because Mars is your great malefic, that would be important. We need to know where your Mars is. Okay. Mars is the body, your physical body. All right. Which explains why something malefic for you in the 5th house, gallbladder, you have Mars at 0 degrees. Okay. So that demands attention, 0 degrees, usually considered a crisis point of some sort. So usually means we have to make a decision. We can't sit still on something. And then, of course, you've got your Chiron. It's always squaring it. So here's the Mars in Taurus energy, and look at the 9 degrees on this day at this time. So this is actually beneficial because Mars is a surgeon. Mars is a surgeon. This is good. The surgeon is schooled. This is 9 degrees, Sagittarius. So we have a smart surgeon, somebody who who is educated. That's what we want. A skilled surgeon. This is someone who's going to be cautious, who's not going to take unnecessary risks because it's in Taurus energy. So it's not someone who just goes in there and is whipping shit around, right? You want someone that's going to be precise. There's going to be some precision involved. That's going to be good. The other thing too is your Mars, even though it's in Taurus, so Mars rules Aries, Mars rules Scorpio, and normally we want to look to have a strong Mars on the day of surgery. Normally, right? These are just basic rules, okay? Basic rules. Because Mars is going to be in your 4th house, that obviously, you yourself and being stable and things being familiar. If you're in the hospital and you're having a surgery, then that means you're probably going to be just emotionally, right? Mars is going to probably create some agitation, right? Okay. So this is this day, agitation, irritation. Mars doesn't move out of Taurus fast. Mars just isn't a fast mover. So this would make sense. Okay. This is going to make sense. However, what I love is you're going to have Mars trining Saturn energy. Technically, because your Saturn is in Capricorn, you see that?
Yes.
You have Mars and Saturn in a trine. But the beautiful thing in your natal chart is your Saturn, very smart energy, has the Pallas Athena connected to it. a
Yes.
strategist thinking long term. To me, this is all good, good, good. Like this was planned, this was scheduled, this was organized. And this is the kind of energy we want. And it's all in the 12th house that is hospitals. You
Good.
follow? So you
Yeah.
have a lot of good support here. Normally they, there's like a list of things you can look at for, what are good aspects and what are the things. And so some of the things I read up on where
Yeah.
you don't want to have like you're a return of a planet if you're having surgery there. And so I checked that out. You're not. Okay. Like, so you're good. Like Cancer energy, the moon is not in Cancer at this time on this
No.
day. So that's a good thing, right? Because your house of health, your sixth house is where you have Cancer energy. Okay.
Yep.
So fifth house is gallbladder, but sixth house is health. Okay. Sixth house is also considered like the abdomen type of area as well.
Mm.
And then you have Venus here, which I think is
Yes.
which is good. And you're going to have the sun here. Now, again, this chart I'm looking at is this one is this a simple transit chart for this day? Yeah, I just wanted to double check. So you've got the sun at 11 degrees, and the sun is important as well when we're having surgery. That represents our energy. Because so far we looked at the surgeon looks good. The only thing that they spoke about in terms of Saturn and Mars is if they're opposing each other. If they're in an opposition, then that would create difficulties because it's an extreme of very opposite energy. Mars wants to be fast, is aggressive, wants to just go, 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 where Saturn is reserved, structured, orderly, has a set of steps it has to take. It's like a serious routine that it can't mess with. Totally opposite of Mars. So you don't have this on that day. You don't have Mars in an opposition to your natal Saturn. You don't have it in an opposition to the transiting Saturn either, for that matter. Now, this chart, it doesn't show it on here, but we're looking at, because it's got Saturn. Oh, I guess it's all the way over there. Let me get it over there. Yeah. Oh, hold on. This says your 1960 chart. Hold on a second. She's like, where did that blue chart go? All right, let's get it back up here. Maybe it switched when I flipped it off. Let me go to this.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because the Saturn was in Capricorn. Like, well, yeah. Okay, so now this is a progress chart, okay? This is what I thought the chart we were looking at, because I already looked at it really quick, and Saturn was right there, just like this Saturn is. So the progress chart, it's a Saturn return. You see?
Okay.
Because you have a 13-degree Saturn.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the beautiful thing is that you have because your planets pretty much, they're together on this secondary progression chart. So it's smart, it's calculated, it's planning ahead, and that's beneficial. Now, what we have here is we have.
Oops.
Are you there?
They're gone.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I heard
I can't hear you.
Some weird noise. Now, what we have here is Mars in this secondary progression chart is close in an opposition to Saturn. This Mars is at 7, where Saturn is at 12 and 13 here. Technically, you could call this an opposition. I call this Saturn is at 12 and 13 here. Technically, you could call this an opposition. I'm hearing feedback. I call this Saturn is at 12 and 13 here. Can you turn that down a little bit? I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. We're having technical difficulties, huh? Are you still there? Oh. Well, I'm going to keep going ahead, I think, because you can then maybe watch this later. I don't know if it's because I don't see you. Yeah. And I think she had to, maybe, who knows? When the internet gets slow, that's what happens, right? She says, I am gone. Okay. I see that you're gone. Do you have a question for the chat then? You want me to teamwork enter the studio? Okay, let's see if we can get teamwork back in here. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's live streams, if if your stuff isn't fast enough, it's a pain in the ass to actually participate in the moment. I know, because yeah, you just kind of live through it and you're like, oh crap. So I don't teamwork. It says you're gone, but it says you've entered, but it doesn't say that you're here. She said to keep talking. Okay. She said, yeah. Okay, then let's do that. Yeah, let's try to do that. So teamwork, I want to pull your attention to this secondary progression. This is Mars at 6 here. Okay. Now, this is because this is a secondary progression chart, it moves really slow. Okay. And so again, this Mars, I'm just gonna give you an example. I'll go and I'll show it for like a year out. You see how it moved 1 degree? So it's in 2027, Mars moved to 8 degrees. Okay. So I'm feeling like this is a secondary progression where the Mars, yes, technically it's in an opposition to the Saturn and the Pallas Athena, but I think you have a lot of other beneficial things in the chart that will kind of help balance this energy because it's not in your regular transit chart. And let me go show you another chart. We could look at 1,000 charts, but we're going to go look at another chart on the same software. And let's see what let's generate this one real quick. Okay, so for this year, the sun is in focus. Solar return year, the sun on the sun, 10 degrees. And look, it's in Leo. Again, the Leo energy and the sun, a big focus on gallbladder energy. So this is a benefit to the energy, which is where I started off, and then it was showing me a different chart. So this is where I was talking about we checked out the surgeon's energy and the surgeon, being a good skilled surgeon. But now we're looking at your sun, which gives you the ability, the energy, and recuperation. Okay, so partnerships are a focus. Mercury is there, but you also have the sun at the Leo where it was, and it's partnerships, professional partnerships. So again, this is good. It trines your moon. It doesn't create an opposition because teaching is no surgeries during full moons, right? We talked about this already before. The prime time for a recommended surgery window is when the moon is waxing, when it's in a building, meaning a new moon and on, right? New moon and on. But once you start getting to that full moon energy, they recommend not to do it during that time. But you have a lot of wonderful things, like I said, on this day so far, that I think kind of recalibrate anything else we see that we might be concerned about. And so far, it was the Mars at the 7 across from the Saturn. Now, when we change this chart up, and we go to your regular chart, and we're going to move you ahead to the day of the surgery so that you can see this. And then I can pull up your other chart for you real quick too. The one that I had already looked at, and I actually marked it up. So here is the day of the surgery. And let me kind of switch some time. Let's get it around surgery time. Because you have Gemini energy and that talks about schedules, and because you do have a 0 degrees Mars, it is a very good possibility. And here's the chart on that day. Mercury's also in the house of Virgo, 6th house of health. It's a possibility the schedule may get a little flip-flop, so you might not have surgery right at whatever time you were scheduled to have surgery. It's a possibility because, again, your Mars in Gemini, and then Mercury is here in the 6th house, okay? So it means we have to be flexible. That's what it means. We have to be flexible, all right? So there's the Mars at 11. This is by the regular transits, okay? And this Mars at 11 degrees had just got done squaring your natal sun, Okay. Normally, when we feel that energy, yeah, it's especially because it's aspecting the fourth house of emotions, right? Some anxiousness likely would appear. The thing is that now, if you look clearly in this chart, you do have the Gemini, the sun in Gemini, Gemini season up in the sky at 13. And so this means this is following immediately after a full moon. Okay. It's after the full moon. So that piece of it, you know, if you can't, if you don't have options on surgeries, that's what are you going to do, right? If you don't have any choices. But because of Saturn up in the sky at 12 degrees in Aries, okay, it's a Saturn trining, I'm sorry, it's a Saturn squaring your natal Saturn, Saturn at 12. And this is Saturn and Pallas at 13, 12, 13 degrees. It is the uncomfortableness of the slowdowns. There's slowdowns, there's stop signs, there's delays. And that would be the Saturn squaring with the Capricorn energy. So again, possibly a delay of some sort. Who knows? Maybe you'll get a notification because it's in the third house of communications. Maybe you'll get a notification. Maybe you'll get a phone call. We're thinking of, can we hold this off 24 hours? It's a possibility something like that might happen, okay? Because it has to do with the plan. And Saturn's all about the plan, okay? And this is a serious plan. A long-term plan, yes, but it's in the third house of short-term plans and communications. So just keep that in mind for that. But because of the sun at 13 and it's trining your midheaven, okay, it's good energy. It's trining partnerships in science and medicine and doctors. I like it. I think it sets up some powerful connections. But I also see that you're going to have Mars sextiling vertex. Your vertex is at 11 degrees. So on this day, Mars sextiles the vertex. And again, that 11 can be disruptions and surprises on that day. So who knows, right? There might be something more pressing that comes up and you might get a notice about it. And if that happens, then there's nothing you can do about it anyway, right? But to me, that's what I see on my end. That would probably be where the most difficulties would be as far as the disruptions, because the release and the let go of this, like you said in the email, the South Node, the Pluto energy, yeah. I know there was a lot of other objects that you looked at that you were concerned about. I think those are more internalized objects. They're more internalized. So don't take them to be things that are going to necessarily be factors that will disrupt and make this day difficult. You follow? Let me go show you another chart real quick. I think we have to change the screen altogether. Oh, you got back. Let me see if you can get on the stage. You're back in the studio. Okay, let's see if you're there. Okay, Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, it worked. I didn't, I stare at the chart. You made it back. Okay. So let me pull up a different chart real quick here. And let me show you this other one that actually was the first thing that I went to double check for you. Because the thing about the Vedic astrology is it does the material, tangible world real good. It doesn't necessarily speak to, and I'm not saying it can't do this, but as far as the material, tangible, and scheduling and calendars, it and the material, it just does that world really well. Okay, so on this chart, what we have here is Gemini in the 6th house, and this was another reason why I thought, oh, damn. So there might be some schedule changes possibly because Gemini demands flexibility. Okay.
Yep.
So this chart definitely says that's a possible thing for you. Okay. Doesn't mean it'll happen, but it's just possible because look, Mercury will be traveling through your 6th house on this day. Okay.
Yeah.
And with Mercury, it's bringing information and news, and, you might get a phone call. Who knows?
Yeah.
What I love about this chart is the Mars is in Aries. Mars is the physical body. and it's trining Saturn. So on the other chart, the Mars was in Taurus, so it was in a square, wasn't it? Yeah, it was in a square with your Saturn. This one, you've got the Mars trining. Okay. So it's a really strong trine for surgery energy because both Mars and Saturn, this is Mars having the influence of Saturn, having Saturn's wisdom, having the teacher present at the same time, and having a steady hand. Okay. You disappeared again.
I'm
sorry.
back. Yeah, I went for a while. I'm back.
Yeah, that's all right. So with this, you also have your natal sun, according to this chart. Natal sun by transit, I should say. I said natal. Transiting sun at 18 degrees in Taurus, and it will be sextiling the sun that you have on this chart.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so I like that. And I also like that the sun will be trining your moon on that day, even though that does all the time, but the connection from here to here. Okay, it sets up a mystic rectangle kind of energy. Okay, so I think that's a huge benefit. Did you have a question?
No. It's good. You gave me what I wanted. Is the majority, the most important transit.
Right.
So
Experience. Saturn is experience. Tried, true, and tested. And wise. It's a Saggy Saturn, and it's in the 12th house of hospitals, of doctors. Yeah, that's all there. And then even your Uranian energy, look at this in this chart. Uranus is at 7 in this chart. And in this chart, your Mars is at 7, your natal Mars. And so technology is right there, touching in with your physical body.
Yeah.
And so many times when the surgeries are performed, we have to use technology.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be like that. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Nobody's got you on the kitchen table where
yeah.
We're going to be using anesthesia.
Yeah.
Definitely Uranus energy. And so it'll be on Mars. And the good thing is, it'll be good. It'll be where sensitive Mars in sensitive Taurus, the anesthesia should work out just fine because you've got Sirius right there. It should bring comfort. And again, the gallbladder. This is that location, fifth house. So I'm
Perfect.
quite optimistic for this.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you. And thank you for the channel gift. Much appreciated.
No problem. My pleasure. And we keep in touch. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Keep in touch. We like updates. All right. Bye-bye. Okay. Here we go. Who was after teamwork? Arcana Nana, you are next. Let's see. It looks like it's a slow day. Arcana Nana, yeah, let's go. If you're still here. Is Arcana Nana here? You are next in line. And let me go check and see. Okay, Watkins, I see you there in the email. Okay, great. Birth digits and everything. Awesome. Okay. Pluto is going to affect me this time around. Interesting question. How many times have you had Pluto going over your sun? This woman's speaking from experience, huh? Wow. I mean, when someone asks a question like that, I'm like, okay, we're having a soul-to-soul conversation here. This isn't about personalities. You are so welcome, teamwork. So Nana's still here. Okay, Nana, what are we looking at? Let me get your chart up here. All right, Watkins, I got you. I think Christy said she's passing because she's cleaning. So you're probably going to be next, Watkins, okay? Right after Nana. And let's see here. Let me see if we can go find a chart for, I know I have Nana's chart in here. Just because, yeah, I love that damn name. I'm always like, ooh, Nana's in the house. All right. Arcana Nana, where are you watching from? Oh, because of the retrograde Watkins. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Well, that'll be a good question and a good chart to look at because it's a good lesson. It's a good Pluto lesson for everybody. Okay, so did Arcana Nana say what we're looking at? Let's get her chart on the screen. Let's get that up here. Okay, there we go. All righty. Okay, let me go check my phone see if Arcana Nana said anything. Probably not, because Arcana Nanas usually like do whatever, but I don't know. Okay, yes. All right, let's see what's going on with Arcana Nana. Since I'm not seeing sometimes people say just do it. All right. Okay, so yeah, man, that you're Arcana Nana. I hope this wasn't the same as last time, but again, Uranus energy just jumped right out. Like right off the chart. Might be because you got the Black Moon Lilith going over the relationships. Okay, but she's going to stop. So that shouldn't be too much of a thing for you. Oh, but you do have Juno trining Uranus right now. Oh, okay. New and exciting and different. Ah, I see why. You're also going to have Uranus trining your midheaven. Or, I'm sorry, being up there at your midheaven. My words are weird today. Where the hell's Mercury? Like, what the hell? Yeah, some of my words are getting a little weird. Mercury at 11. All right, they're moving too fast for me to grasp. Okay, so Uranus going to be at your midheaven. And don't know if I talked about that before, but that's where we're going real quick. Yeah, you're going to feel that getting stronger. And you're going to feel it before it touches your midheaven because this is at 2 degrees over here. And I feel like I definitely talked about this, no? Yeah, so Uranus is different and new. And you're going to actually need different and new. It's the thing that's going to nurture you at that time. What's interesting is you're going to have a Ceres return with Uranus on top of your Ceres. So you have Ceres, or Ceres. That's at 3 degrees in your chart, okay? Right there. And that talks about how we feel nurtured. Some people nurture themselves. You know, when we're babies, it's food. But yours is with information and learning. Ceres. That's how you feel nurtured. It's how your brain is just gobbling up the details and the information. Also writing, learning, curiosity, teaching. Yeah. Now yours is in your 9th house, but it's conjunct your 10th house, which talks about your goals for the future. So acquiring knowledge. This may be done, your knowledge that you're acquiring, whatever your extended education. Maybe you just surf the net, you know, because you've got it in Gemini. So it's really busy stuff. Publishing, though, would be a thing with a person who has an object in their 9th house, whether it's through social media or literally publishing a book and teaching, but study, possibly travel too, and really learning about other cultures. It says that you look after others by sharing or teaching your knowledge. That's a way where you extend what nurtures you to what may nurture somebody else. So let's give you a date on this because I don't know if I did all that. You're probably already kicking in with it too, though, because we've got the sun, right? Yeah, the sun with Sedna, the past, all starting to trigger strongly this Ceres energy. How I feel nurtured. So here comes Ceres and Uranus together. This is the end of May. right at the butt end of May. Sirius enters Gemini at 0 degrees. This brings on your Sirius return energy. So you may likely have a different idea about the future, about what it is that nurtures you, new, different information. You might find yourself needing to be the main multitasker. Like your brain's just going to be activated even more because Sirius is scattered and going all over the place and trying to learn this and read that and write this. Yeah, that whole learning thing. But a lot of the Gemini energy can be, even if I'm not sitting down with information or consuming it on social media, it's the give and take at the end of the day, or at any time of the day, technically. But it's the give and take, it's the banter, the back and forth. So whether we do it like this, whether we do it face to face, it's that banter. This is neighbor energy. This is my local community. This is siblings. You see? So, and you even have this at the sibling degree too. So your local community, whether I'm in the market, like going to the markets and shopping, or I'm a big, local customer, or maybe I'm a merchant who sells something like to my local community, because this is business and sales as well. But in the ninth house, you might want to do it on a large level. So this energy is, it gives you a little bit of depth in terms of maybe understanding why you are the way you are and your thirst for knowledge. The thirst for knowledge. And so here's Uranus now at 2 degrees in the beginning of June. And if I back it up a week, you'll have Sirius like right at your midheaven. So like June 5th, Uranus at 2, Sirius at 3. This involves a return of Sirius, and it involves your midheaven getting triggered. And so now it's a goal. What's the future? The future of how I'm learning, what I'm talking about. This is mind energy. Mind energy is super important. This is the energy of brotherhood on a really high level. I call it humanity. Brotherhood sounds like we're leaving women out or whoever. And that's just an old school term. But with Gemini season going strong and a new focus on the future and your long-term goals, you even have Jupiter and Saturn together up there at your midheaven as well, a focus on the long-term goals. You might have all of a sudden a lot of different long-term goals. Some of those goals might be deeply spiritual. That's a possibility. But for you, maybe travel plans. But I think something new. Absolutely, and exciting and different. Different will be the spice of the life at this time. Yes, Gemini rules trade. My job is with the U.S. Customs, trades, tariffs, but I'm studying astrology and tarot. Good for you. Then you're living your chart, it looks like. Absolutely. Should I apply for a new job? You're going to have Uranus at your midheaven. Absolutely. Just remember, just go ahead and do the applying stuff. Dip the feet in the water. If this is something you want to do, then do it. However, think about what it is that you really want. I think with Uranus going over your midheaven, getting close to it, and I believe Uranus does a retrograde right there. So if you're studying astrology and you've been studying, Uranus, look right there. Uranus is beginning the retrograde on your midheaven. So many times these planets will definitely give their impressions. This is definitely a scientific bent. And sure, it is trade. Yeah, absolutely. It's the supply chain and all the little levers and buttons and procedures that make all that shit work. Yeah, which means there are people on the other ends of that stuff. But science and different and unique, and something where I stand out is a big part of Uranus energy and the uniqueness. Okay. It's very independent energy though. So whatever job this is, you would probably see, the thing is we try to break away and break free out of something. By the way, this is around September. Uranus will go over your midheaven, but it's when it begins its retrograde that if you haven't broke free by then, by the first 10 days of September, you're probably going to be like, I'm freaking out of here, right? There could be that tendency where we might get rash and burst and break free. It's possible. You'll even have Mercury trining Uranus at that time too. So there will be communications, there will be networking, we'll be talking to people, coworkers. You're going to be quite busy and have lots of freaking ideas. But if you have a sense of independence at your current job, and if you're seeking independence, just keep that in mind. Something new, you have to make sure that it satisfies the independence that you may currently experience in your job now. Even if it's not like an all-day independent thing, there just might be something there where even if it's you're the boss of yourself, the boss of your station, the boss of the crew, whatever that is, whatever that authority figure type of role is, just keep that in mind. That would probably be a big deal for somebody who's got air in the second house and who has air in the sixth house and who has air at the midheaven, okay? Because a very independent boss energy in the house of work you do have, okay? So you kind of just want to, maybe stay within those parameters or not. It comes down to how much experimenting you've been doing and how can you satisfy your Uranus, the independence within professional partnerships, because after all, Uranus at 10 degrees in Libra is a thing here in your natal chart. Okay. Well, then you got to figure out, do you still want to keep working from home? My job is killing me. Uranus is definitely going to get that midheaven and it's going to say, I need to break free. You're already feeling it, obviously. My job is killing me. So yeah. And I work from home. And that gives you quite a bit of independence, I would think. Or maybe not. Maybe you feel like you're chained to the house for that reason. All right. So I think we're going with, because Christy said pass. So is Watkins Cat House here? Let's go see. Yeah, Gemini, business and trade. Still here. Oh, great. All right, Watkins, let's get your chart up here. I know you sent your digits. Let me see, because I know I'm familiar with your name. So I'm feeling like, did we draw you up already once before? We might have, but let's double check to make sure we got the right information. All right, Watkins, I've got you in my system, and this is what it says for you. Look at that. See how nice and smooth that is when we already know the stuff? This says Capricorn rising. Is that right? Cappy rising, Pisces moon. Ooh. You're just like my mom, Pisces moon at 1 degrees. That's the same degree of her moon. That's why life is so, anyway, it can be difficult. 15 degrees Capricorn rising. Mercury on your ascendant. Wow. That's some busy stuff. Although Capricorn energy tends to slow that Mercury stuff down, which can be good. All right. Okay, great. All right, so she's got a great question that applies to all of us. This is a Pluto question, folks. So it's a big deal. She's got a 3 degrees Aquarius sun in her chart. Yeah, let me do this for this chart real quick, because this is a question that everyone can benefit from. So let me get this on the screen like this. And she's going to have the sun at 3, but Pluto's going to be doing a retrograde. So that's her concern. Pluto does a retrograde and it goes back over her natal sun. Now, Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that, are you aware that you made it from the last Pluto retrograding over your sun? I know that might seem silly. Okay, so let me switch this chart. Yeah, this one will go a little bit bigger. This is why I want to show this. There we go. Okay. So Pluto energy. Yeah, I started my little doodling. Okay. So the Pluto going to be on your sun at 325. Pluto already did a retrograde and you survived. Say, I survived, right? Pluto right on your sun, not a square, but on it. And the Pluto energy talks about intense and deep changes. Now, the sun energy can sometimes refer to our heart, literally the heart in our body. And so some people, depending upon their age, they might find out that, oh, I don't know, they have a heart that has an irregular heartbeat, or they might have something wonky. You know, they might have where it skips a beat, or it speeds up. I forget the name of that, where it speeds up. But we think of heart stuff in general. Okay. Now, if you look in your chart, which is why I had this here, is you have Chiron in Gemini at 3 degrees. You see that? So it's not just the Pluto standing still, or retrograding, I should say, because it's going to be a Pluto retrograding over your sun. But as Pluto does that, it gets a trine, the healer, the wounded healer, from the Chiron energy. So that may bring up another wound. It's possible, depends on where you're at with this wound. Typically, the Chiron in Gemini it normally can speak to people who maybe spoke late in life, who talked late. Maybe there was some sort of a thing about learning. Maybe it had nothing to do with learning, but school might have been a thing, some sort of a wound when we were younger because of the location of it in your 5th house. But what did we learn in the earlier charts? 5th house can even be the gallbladder energy, right? We learned that. Your Mars is not here, but Chiron is. And Chiron in Gemini, though, is more about maybe, this area of the body, right? The mind and our thoughts. Okay. So that's going to be key, is the thought energy. Now, when the Pluto goes retrograde, it's going to be the minutes that are going to be key. Okay. The minutes super matter, like big, huge matter. Okay. So when the retrograde begins, we have to double check. I'm going to go and pull this up so I can have it exact here for you. We got to check the retrograde for Pluto. And the Pluto is going to retrograde. Okay. Goes to 3 degrees and 4 minutes. So it will retrograde beyond your minutes. Because right now, Pluto retrograde begins at 5. It'll go back to 3 degrees and 5 minutes, which means Pluto is going to go back to like right here. Okay. So it will go over your sun. And so for anybody who's got something in their chart and you have a concern similar to her concern, the minutes matter. All right. Now, with that said, let's go see what else is where at the time of this retrograde. Let me go pull up this chart for you real quick. And Yeah, maybe you've already looked at it. The timeline is going to be, yeah, we're going to give you an orb of, I'm pressing these buttons. They just don't want to move fast enough sometimes. 350. Yeah, we'll give you an orb of like 334, August 28th. Anything before that, it's not that Pluto doesn't have an effect before then. It does. It's just that it's psychological. And sometimes in Aquarius, we get anxious, anxiety for sure. Your key thing is going to be your Mars energy, to make sure you're utilizing that Mars energy, because you've got a Mars in Pisces, and knowing what keeps you calm and feeling good, whether it's playing music, making music, creating, and not letting your nerves get the best of you would be huge. So keeping yourself busy. Aries in the 3rd house, going to be a busy mind. It is a courageous mind for sure. And then let's go look at the date. So I said August 28th, and let's see what I can see real quick. 334. A good indicator also is if you made it through the first one, do you remember what that felt like for you? This can be friends, this can be authority figures. It is in the 1st house for you, so it talks about you being the authority of your own life. Now, the 1st house, let me see if we got anything angling. Uranus has not begun retrograding yet at this time. Uranus is sitting at 5 and it has not begun its retrograde. Let me see if I've got any other things, objects here. Okay, so you have Pluto. Your natal Pluto is at 4 degrees in Scorpio. You have an exalted Pluto. Okay, you have a very strong Pluto, we'll say. A very strong Pluto. It rules that area. So what happens normally is we have to make deep changes, powerful deep changes. And these powerful deep changes, again, psychologically, you yourself bring them on. Okay. So things that are deeply meaningful are going to be important. Looking things that you haven't looked at before, getting in touch with your core purpose and meaning in life. What's my meaning? What's my purpose in life? That might be something that's going through your brain. Yeah. I mean, I would imagine you kind of went through some of it with your Pluto squaring your Pluto when it was at 4 degrees. But on this day, and like the next 7 days following it, it talks about a time where things are changing, where you have to reassess maybe your goals, but power is a big question here. Purpose and power. And these are for yourself, your purpose and the power about yourself. And I'll give you this little tidbit too. Are you aware of when you lose your power? What it is or who it is and what circumstances where you literally feel drained afterwards? And do you protect yourself to make sure you don't lose your power? This Pluto conjunct your sun may help you to discover that. Okay. It's discovering a sense of your own power. Okay. You're being asked to rely on your own resources and your own inner resources rather than outer resources. So this is a time in your life, and I'm literally going to read what's in front of me so that you don't, This is a type of change that can occur in any area of your life, but usually it's in this section. Of me and self, and my appearance and my body. Okay. Now, because it's in this 1st house, it can also affect the 7th house area of a person's life because it's in the opposition to that. When I look in your chart at the opposition, you don't have anything here in 3 degrees of Leo. You don't have anything here. Okay. So that makes life it makes it not as crazy when it doesn't aspect multiple areas of the chart. I'm looking to see your trine energy. Yeah, the Chiron trine. That was the first thing I spoke of. But you don't have it any other way. And I don't see it'll already be past that Pluto square. Okay, you don't have anything else there. And so those are some of the big main things. Now you may be reevaluating your work, how you show up in the world. Because in your deep dive of discovering power, your own sense of power about yourself, friends and group energy may be a thing as well. But something about your uniqueness and showing up as an independent, unique, original human being. That's Uranus energy in the 3rd house. That's Uranus. I said Uranus. I'm talking about your Aquarius sun. Sorry if that confused you. So Pluto comes along and says, we're going to make some sort of a change. Now, just so you know, this isn't a once and done thing. This was a long process. This process has already begun. And it began the first time Pluto went over your sun. And then it went retrograde, right? And then it went forward again. And here the fricker comes again, another damn retrograde, right? So this is a long process, years long process. Pluto retrogrades but once a year, right? So you've already in the process of it. I don't see anything in the chart here. Let me go look for your Saturn real quick. Your natal Saturn. Is that 26? Okay, we're clear on that. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you what it says about the trine to your Chiron real quick. The potential for healing problems from your past is very strong during this transit. Something or someone may help you see past problems in a different light now. So healing is strong with Pluto energy, and it's talking to the wounded healer. Perhaps an estranged love. One who will return to heal old wounds. Or perhaps you're able to now succeed where you once failed. Whatever the scenario, you now have the chance to achieve your heartfelt desires. Okay? And because it's in the 5th house, it's a good possibility, whether it's a child, whether it's a romantic partnership, somebody you might be familiar with, might even be sibling energy. They said a romantic love. I would want to see other objects like Jupiter and, other things involved, and Mars to be more involved, even though you will have Mars will be in your 6th house of health and day-to-day routines, not in your 7th house yet at that time. But the point is, healing is on the menu. And the wounded healer and Pluto having a conversation in a trine. Wow. This is definitely about self. Okay. So I hope that helped. And the Gemini for everybody is options, and that freaking mind thing. This is a hard one. With Uranus in Gemini now, like if there were people who didn't have busy minds before, well, they have busy minds now. And for those who already had busy minds, it might be hard to put down the devices, like it might be hard to stop talking. It might be hard to turn the brain off and go to sleep. It's a possibility. But communication, writing, learning are all things that are really strong with the Gemini energy. It's the giving and the taking and the sharing and putting it back out there. So 3 degrees is peer energy as well, coworkers and peers. Okay, so something with people who are near me in a close proximity type of energy, even because it's like my next door neighbors. It's cowork, like where I'm at. It's housemates. It's housemates too, right? So that's important as well. Okay, so yes, overthinker, got you. I see. Hey, Donna, how are you doing? I moved into a new place with my boyfriend and daughter. Oh, okay. Okay, well then that sounds good. That sounds like Well, then this makes sense, right? I mean, it's a change. It's a big change. Okay, awesome. Yeah, you are welcome. You are welcome, Watkins Cat House. Y'all got these people on these daytime live streams, y'all got some great ass names. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just because they're different. I don't know. But I'm like, I love these names these folks have. Uh, how many cats do you have? Like, we want to know. I want to know. We got two cats in this house. Yes, and thank you everybody for the channel gifts. Awesome. Everybody gets a free reading. If you have just gotten here, get your name into the chat, or you just get in the chat and you say hello. That puts you in the queue. All right. It's from the people and the names showing up in the queue. That's how we go through the readings. That's first come, first serve. And we just got done with Watkins Cat House. So we're going to go see who's next. Birth time, birth date, birth city, birth state. You can always send an email. It's right at the bottom of the screen, scrolling across. If you're nervous about putting that information in the chat, that's fine. For those who want more than a speed reading, there's a Venmo and a PayPal right under this live stream where you can send a gift to the channel. That's up to you. You send a channel gift. You decide how much. And then from there, that will depict, we'll spend more time on your chart. That's how we do that. Okay. So, Arkansas. Okay, we just did what? Okay, yeah, moving along. I'm just saying the names now. Let me see. Sergi's here. What's going on, Sergi? How are you? Yes, Pluto going over those first degrees of Aquarius have been difficult due to a square to my Mars/Jupiter. I can't imagine what it does when it goes over one's sun. Well, Watkins, there's a question for you. It's not going over my sun, but it would change the way you express. It can physically be a heart thing, right? But there's a change, internal intensity. Pluto doesn't mess around. It goes deep. It wants to reveal something that's been buried deep. And it can be vulnerabilities and trust issues. I forgot to kind of mention that one, Watkins. Can be vulnerabilities and trust issues. Okay. So Mars going or Pluto glowing, your Mars is in Aquarius? Oh, it's a square to my Mars. Okay. Yeah, and have you found that it's squaring your Mars? Have you found that you are more it's like two warriors going to battle when they square off? Have you found that to be the case? Like intensity has gone up a notch. Have you found that out, Sergius? I'm just curious. Obviously, you can have some other objects. I don't have your chart in my brain, but I actually think you're next in line. Yeah, I think you're next in line. I'm looking at the folks' names in the chat here. Christy said she was passing. We already did teamwork. So, Sergius, if you're still here, you're actually next in line. And then healing readings by Donna. Happy Friday, Donna. Victoria. Hello, Victoria. Was wondering if you have a message for me. Victoria, did you get me your digits? I do. I look at birth charts, unless you want me to just spew out something without looking at a chart. I get a lot of stuff that comes in. I know this about myself. I hear a lot more than I ever wanted to hear. So I try to use the astrology as a tool to pinpoint, okay, this is what needs to be talked about. The other stuff is, could be a whole lot of things. So that's just the way I work. That's the way I work with my stuff. But, oh, great. You got digits. Phenomenal. You got a birth time? If not, then be honest and say I don't, and then I'll create you a new hour chart. But if you have the more digits, the more information you have, the better, the more accurate your chart will be. Is Sergius still here, or does Sergius leave? Let me look in the other thing. Sometimes, every once in a while, I'll see stuff on here. Oh, you got a birth time. Woo, good job. I love it when people show up and they have their stuff together. Okay, so Sergius, I'm doing a roll call. If you're not here, I'm going to the next person. Going once. I need to see your name. Oh, Sergius is like, I'm here. For Pluto Mars square, it was more of a disruption in my marriage, family life. Oh, an eruption. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. And the 4th and the 7th. Yeah, absolutely. So, am I passing? Sergius, are you passing or am I pulling up your chart? Because I think we actually have you in the system. I know you've been here before. But if you want me to look at your chart real quick, I can do that. Let me know. Maybe that was your way. I'm fine. You can skip. Okay. Sergius said we're skipping. We're passing. Okay. All right. Let me go double check. Double check through the chat here. Yeah, long weekend for some folks. A 4-day. Good for you. I notice a lot of folks get the 4-day. Hey, Donna, you were right after Sergius. Are you here? I just wanted to make sure before I go to somebody else. Is Donna here? Donna, you were next in line, but sometimes she just stops by to say hi. Donna, are you here? Donna said, yes, I am. All right, Donna, what are we looking at? Let's move along and get to Donna. Donna Marie. Readings by Donna Marie. All right. Okay. Let me see if this will play nice. And let me get this chart up here. Woohoo! It worked. Yay. All right. So that would mean that Victoria channel, you're going to likely, I think you're right after Donna then, if I'm reading all this right. Yeah. Victoria's, you're right after Donna. So hang in there. All right, Donna, let me see real quick. Let me get rid of this chart. Let me get rid of that comment. And did she say I am her? I am here. I am her. So what crazy to expect? Oh, she's like, crazy's coming, but what kind of crazy? What flavor of crazy? Oh, yeah, because you got a Mars at 3 degrees. Oh, you're going to be so busy. It's going to be insane, right? Uranus. It does promise new and exciting. It does promise new and exciting. But Uranus also brings disruptions. And it demands that we be flexible when it's in Gemini energy. But talking and communication, our coworkers, this still will be Gemini season. Yeah, you should already be feeling it though, because Uranus is sitting there at 1. So you should kind of already be in that technology mode. And so maybe you'll be using new technology, different technology, something different with technology. You'll be taking action, but starting something new and not sitting on it, right? Like, I'm doing this. This is great startup energy. Great startup energy. Talks about a ton of energy too. Whenever Mars and Aquarius and Uranus energy get together, watch out world. It's that kind of energy that talks about, I have never-ending energy. Talks about opportunities as well and being eager to make the most of good fortune that may come my way. It's an extremely intense time and you feel ready to burst with energy, actually. However, you may feel the restlessness, maybe the impatience, and so for some folks, it may come across as aggressive energy. Okay. So as Uranus gets closer to your Mars, you might even feel a little bit more easily agitated in terms of being anxious in a way, right? Easily and being too rushed. And so what I will say when we have Uranus on Mars is when people are moving too fast, because remember, this is like lightning bolt. When people move too fast, they get into accidents or they have accidents. They do stupid shit. Okay. It's just the best way to put it. It's not like stay in your house and don't go outside because there's an accident waiting to happen. This is the energy that says force your body, force Mars, watch your step, watch what you say, slow down, don't go rushing out the door. You're in the car driving and you realize you're not wearing your glasses, or you left your freaking driver's license and your purse in the house. And, just silly things that we do when we're in a rush. And I have a great example, even though it's not like a serious example. Because I have a thing with my left foot, I typically have a particular pair of type of a shoe that I wear that's super comfortable for me, right? Well, many times when I'm going out the door, well, I shouldn't say many times, but when I go out the door, say I'm going to the chiropractor, say I'm going to a doctor's appointment, right? I'll grab the keys and I'll get my glasses and I grab the phone, make sure I've got the money and the credit card, blah, blah, blah. And I'm literally out the door and I realize where the hell am I going? I don't have actual shoes on my feet. For me, that's something where I would go, and go back into the house. I'm like, I don't know where the hell I was going wearing these type of thing, right? Or you might walk out of the house and not realize, just whatever, because this is the local community energy. And yours is probably going to be more connected to, well, I shouldn't really say that because it is your body, because it's Mars energy. Body is a big deal. So as this Uranus gets closer and closer to the 3 degrees, disruptions and just feeling like I'm plugged in. So whether it's, antsiness, but having a lot of energy that you can use, like if you've got a lot of things on your calendar that you want to get done, especially if they're local things, because that's sales and business. If it's local stuff, then you will find yourself absolutely, whether it's new people in the local community, new businesses, maybe even. But what about boss energy? Uranus is boss energy. And it coming up, touching in with your Mars energy, this talks about my freedom and my independence. So you may also realize at this time that you just need a break because you don't want to do the mundane, like what you do all the time. Like every weekend I go do this, right? You might need a little bit of I don't know, I need to get away type of thing, because that would be the connection with Uranus energy. Okay. So self-discipline will probably be something that you'll need at this time, because Uranus will send those impulses of just do it now, because Mars is really impulsive. And with Uranus pressing buttons and like, oh, just do it. You can do it in the touch of a button, right? Yeah. So the thing that I will read out of the software for you is it says to avoid dangerous pursuits. Okay. Because Uranus will challenge our ability to practice caution. Anything new that's like physically new and different, or even borderline dangerous, as they put it, you want to just avoid it this time. Okay. But finding something that you can do, whether it's a new workout routine, a new hobby, that's such an old school word, but just some task, project, just something you can do where it's utilizing the extra energy while at the same time being safe. That's the ticket here. That's the ticket. Okay. So that's literally the recommendation here, because of the risk, to want to take any risk when it's Uranus and Mars connecting like that. Yeah. Just err on the side of caution. Okay. And so that means you control your destiny, so to speak. Now, this period is already begun, and I don't know if I already told you when it is done passing over your Mars, but it's going to be intense from now until June 26th. Yeah. By the beginning of July, you'll still feel it, but hopefully it's not as well. Actually, no, because we're going to have Mars on Mars. You're having a Mars return then. Okay, let me take that back. Let's roll this back to July 10th or forward to July 10th. Okay. Once you hit July 10th, oh, you know what? You're going to have Mars then hitting your second house cusp line of desires. Let's push it back a little bit further. How about July 17th? By July 17th, you're not going to be so insane to just like do anything because it's different and new and it's independent and you feel free. Mars and Uranus want freedom. All right. So July 17th is where you can expect to feel the edge easing off a little bit. All right. But a great time until then to give Mars a lot of projects and tasks to do that it can utilize that energy in a safe way. I hope that makes sense. So what crazy? Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the crazy. That's the crazy you can expect. You know, Donna, because it's your Mercury that rules the Gemini energy, and your Mercury's at 24 degrees, it might have to do, of course, with learning. Yeah, you have a 24 degrees Mercury, and it's in Gemini. So learning. And it's that Pisces energies too. So learning, the healing, the healer, the understanding. Maybe you're just driving yourself nuts with, I don't know, all the timelines and schedules and classwork. Yeah. Mercury, 24 degrees. And yeah, I think Venus will be in Virgo then. That'll be interesting. At the end of or July 17th, that date that I gave you. Yeah, Venus will be in Virgo, which means Venus will be that week. It'll be Venus conjunct Uranus for you. Are you supposed to be, yeah, you know, the Venus is going to, wow, this is kind of interesting. Venus is going to be touching in with your Uranus energy. So it's as if you will have like a new value towards something related to health and healing. That's July 14th, right before the July 17th, like, okay, all clear thing. You'll have Venus touching in with your natal Uranus, which talks about maybe a new income, maybe new work. New task, new project, but Venus usually can bring gifts and income. It's about how I receive with Venus energy. Oh, maybe a new healing gift comes through for you. Maybe a new healing, because Virgo is tools, you know, it's the different healing modalities, and you have Uranus at 6. Yeah. You know what? There was also something that got on my radar today that since I don't, is there anybody else in let me go look at the chat before I start rambling. But it's connected to Reiki. Remember, this system doesn't show Reiki. I want to start add just one. Okay, what? Oh, great. It won't be able to stop talking. Yeah. That's right. I mean, you know your Mars energy better than anybody else. You have a Mars at 3 degrees anyway, right? Yeah. But I would imagine sleep and the mind not turning off. I mean, I got to believe it's a Mars in Gemini. Do you have that issue as it is with your Mars and not being able to go to sleep at night? Oh, I know what I want to start or add, just want to think it through. Ah, no weekend is the same. Oh, good for you. Okay, no skydiving. Exactly. No skydiving. That's right. Not the time to start doing anything like that. Nope. There would absolutely be I jumped out of the fucking oop, did I say that? I jumped out of the damn plane and I wasn't wearing my goddamn parachute. Right? Or I jumped out of the plane and was in such a hurry, we didn't test the damn thing, and I mean, yeah, absolutely not. Under no circumstance. Seriously though, the recommendation that I've read many other places, whenever you mix Mars and Uranus energy for people who are doing like yard work or if you're a crafter, is that if you're working with new tools that week or during this time, not to do it. Not to do it because it's something you aren't familiar with, something that, especially if you're used to working with tools in general, but chances are, if this is a new tool, especially if it's like a big tool, like in our garage, there's a couple of big tools, like table saws and shit like that. So for me, like if I were to go and use those things, objects that I've only watched other people use, it would be a really bad time for me to be like, oh yeah, maybe this is a good time to see if I can do this. No, not a good idea, right? But it's something that's in the house that we're familiar with, but it's big, it's powerful, it's almost like a freaking appliance. It requires electricity. Yeah, not a good idea. So don't work with new tools is what they recommend. And again, I use the word caution, go cautiously. I'm doing a lot of learning, I'm sure, fitting it all in. Yeah. Do you sleep? That's my question. Do you sleep? I mean, with that Mars, it's already being touched in by Uranian energy. It's already being affected. Right. No, Scott. I'm just like, how does this person with Mars touching in with Uranus, it's got to be difficult. Okay, so there was this other thing I saw that was important. And Donna, I know you would appreciate this, and whoever else is here listening that's in the healing arts. Okay, let me see if I can do it this way. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I just thought, this is important. This is Chiron. Maybe. Yeah, let me just go and do this. Oh, I just got get rid of one of my favorite things. All right, let's see if they can show us this on this chart really quick. Because and in looking at I said Karen, Reiki, looking at Reiki. I'm going to pull up this chart right here real quick. Because we were looking at these personal things in birth charts in the astrology class. And Donna, I know I have you on this one, so we're just going to use your chart as an example real quick. Oh, that's the wrong Donna. Okay. I'm like, I know you were not born in the US, so that's not you. And let's see if they still have it programmed in. Let me get this on the screen. how about let's get this one on the screen instead. Yeah, let's get this one up here real quick. Right, there's your Reiki at 24. Right. In Virgo, the healer's degree, 6th house of work, day-to-day routines. Yeah. And I know like I said, we've talked pretty deep about this. Now let's go to the transits. Let's put the transits on. We're in astro.com, okay? And look at the transits. And let's go find Reiki in the transits, which means the planets and where they are up in the sky right now. You see Reiki? You see that? She's in Aquarius at 1.5 degrees in Aquarius. Do you see that? Yeah. This is big. This is big. I know Reiki moves really slow, but having it in Aquarian energy is the social structures of society. You see? So for folks who, I mean, to be honest, Reiki's been around a long time, right? I don't know the history. I don't know all the information. I just know that my mom, who is, how old is she? 87, I think she turned. Yeah, she turned 87. And in July, geez. The other J, one of the other J's. And she was a teacher. She taught Reiki. And so I'm like, this stuff's been around for a long time. And it's a long, slow process as far as how is Reiki going to be implemented within society. I mean, obviously we've heard about it, right? But is it in the hospitals? Is it considered part? Is it covered by insurance? That's the question we want to know, right? Yeah. I mean, that's what we want to know. Will insurance cover it, damn it? I mean, is it recognized by the institutions, by governments? That's the thing. And so until humanity, Aquarius energy, along with moon energy, until humanity gets their mind around how their own thoughts, their own belief system, and how all of that can affect their well-being and their health or prevent them from healing. And so can there be other things too, right? I'm not just pinpointing it and saying only that, because I'm not a teacher as far as that or a healer at all. I'm an astrologer. So, but I think you just can't overlook what does Reiki and Aquarius mean. It's the group coming together and a healing of the group even. And how do you heal a group? You have to heal the group mentality, right? The group thought. You have to heal that. So we think of the groups within groups and just, the way people express and people's belief systems and understanding the energetics, right? Aquarius energy, literally, right? Literally. Alternative forms of power and energy, Aquarian stuff. And so Reiki being there and having a role in this in some way, absolutely, because this is new, this is different, this is unconventional, and it's never been done before. I don't know how slow Reiki is. I could. Let me try to jump back on this chart and go through time and see if it'll let me go back like way back. Or how about oh, well, this system won't let me do that. Son of a bee. Okay. It'll let me go back in time. It won't let me go back. Okay. So let me cheat. Let me play around with Donna's birth time, and we'll just pretend that this is Donna born, you know, in an earlier timeline. I'll just grab this other timeline. What the hell? Thought I had a cat for a second in here. Okay, so what else are we learning about Reiki? I think what I'm learning about Reiki is it's slow as all hell. It's been in Aquarius for, holy crap. Oh my God, Reiki's like in the same position. I put this birth chart at 1904, literally. Oh my God, this is such a slow process. Holy shit. Reiki's old as hell. Whoa. I mean, I figured it had to be, but yeah, I should just go back to the 1700s. Why not? Let's just travel through history. Look, it's in the same God blessed spot. What? Yeah. What the F? Okay, so Reiki is so, no wonder it's not in the other software. You're going back centuries and this shit hasn't moved. Okay, well, that answered my question. I went down the rabbit hole because I wanted to know just how slow was this. How the hell can that be right, though, if Donna has it in Virgo? Something doesn't make any sense. This does not make sense. There's no way. This makes no damn sense. Maybe this system's having a weird day. It's just showing Reiki hasn't moved, and that can't be possible. Unless Reiki's a super fast mover, and I just somehow keep pulling it up to be at the same time because I'm pulling up the same time of day. That could be a thing. But it's, oops, where'd the chart go? Donna, what's your birth year? I just messed with your birth chart that I had in my system. After surgery, people can ask for a session. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. They should be having sessions before surgery to help surgery go better, to help them be more calm and not so freaking anxious. Obviously, they're still going to get the anesthetics anyway, but absolutely. For sure. What was your birth year? Because I totally jacked up your chart. Can you put our day and time and birthplace? Yeah. Whoever this is at C star. Yeah. That's what astrology. Birth time, birth date, birth city, birth state. If you got your digits, you'd have to get them to me quickly though. Yep. I got a half hour left. 1964. Thank you, Donna. Absolutely. But that just didn't make any sense because, yeah, it just didn't make any sense. And my Reiki's not in Virgo. I can't remember where the hell mine is, but it's not in Virgo. Matter of fact, yeah, something. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on that Reiki stuff. Yeah, this software, because I don't pay for this astro.com, it'll only let me look at today's transits, I believe. However, now that we've got that out of the way, we've got our own software, but it doesn't have Reiki. Reiki is going places. It's in our hospital here. Really? Nice. Nice. That is great to hear. Oh, that is lovely. That is lovely to hear. Oh, she said I sleep hard. Oh, good for you. Well, you're fortunate. Oh, there must be some other objects then. Oh, you do have Chiron in the 12th. But wake up already, day planned and up early. Wake up and my day's already planned. So your brain's working while you're sleeping. Gotcha. You got your little private secretary while you're sleeping. That must be nice. That's that damn Mercury at 24 degrees. Yep. She's got a freaking secretary while she's asleep. That must be nice. I need a few of those. Stephen, yeah, any time for one more. Yeah, there is time. Oh, that's great. I didn't know people could ask for Reiki sessions. I had no idea. Holy shit. Nice. All right. So, Stephen, are you still here? Let me get you up on the screen then. I think I have Stephen's chart because I recognize that, right? You've been here before. What are we looking at, Stephen? Give me one word. What am I looking at? If you don't give me a word, then you're going to go with what jumps out. Stephen, did I put you in here as Stephen? Oh, shit. Hey, Stephen, are you July 20th, 1999? Is that you? Is that the Stephen? It just says Stephen. I didn't put any numbers or anything behind this. Did I lose it? Let me see. You're welcome, Donna. Absolutely. Trying to see here. Stephen said, yeah, that's me. Okay, great. Thank God the phone works. Yeah. Just trying to get your chart up, but okay, let's go with that. Oh, well, that's nice. Isn't that lovely? It just shows it's playing games on me. Okay, so let's try it again. Can we do this one more time? There we go. Let's see if that works. There we go. Oh, Stephen, you know what? I'm sorry. Yeah, Victoria, I am so sorry. I started talking about Reiki. I'm so sorry. Victoria was next. I totally. All right, Stephen, hold on a second. I got to go do a Victoria. I am so sorry. You say I need my secretary. All right, so Stephen, you're right after Victoria. Victoria did give me her digits. I just started talking about Reiki. Alrighty. Let's get Victoria is a new one that I'm drawing in here. All right, Victoria. Victoria says March 21st. I should have put you I should have highlighted your name on this. 1971. That's New Jersey. What's that time at 5:45 a.m. Let me make sure we got the spelling right here. It's EY, correct? Okay, it's telling me I must have spelled it wrong. How do you spell New Jersey? The system sometimes wants to be weird. Do you have? Yeah, I know it's small. Do you have a location inside of New Jersey? Yeah. Do you know where you were born? Like what state? I said state. I meant the other thing. The city? Sorry. Okay, Victoria 545. Oh man, this software. Let's see if she said anything. Yeah, Newark, that'll work. Oh Lord, did I spell that right? Nope. There we go. Okay. Okay, have you seen your chart before? There we go. So this is showing Pisces on the ascendant. Is that you, Pisces on the ascendant? All right, let me put star first, Stephen, so I don't forget. I should have starred hers, but all right, this is showing Pisces on the ascendant, and your moon is a Capricorn moon, according to this chart. Pisces at 21, moon at 16 in Capricorn. Fiery Aries. Okay, interesting. Newark, New Jersey. Yeah. So did you have something in particular I'm looking for? You got like a one word you want me to focus on, or I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about whatever's jumping in at me for Victoria? Samantha, what's up? I see you. Hello. What's the tea? I see you. Hello. How are you? All right, let's get to work here. I don't see anything from Victoria as far as any, because once my eyes leave the chat, they're on the chart. I don't come back to the chart. If I come, I'm sorry, I don't come back to the chat. If I come back to the chat, that means I'm done looking at your chart. You follow? That's how I do it. I got one screen and I got two eyeballs, and my both eyeballs look at the same thing at the same time. I don't have those new high-tech eyeballs yet. Oh, making a big change. Wondering if I'm moving and selling, getting rid of a business. That's a big deal, huh? Okay, so what are we going to have? Let me take a... Ooh. Holy shit, you have Gemini in the third house cusp line. So you don't know if this is your chart, though, or what? If you haven't ever seen your chart before, that's okay. You can say that. That would be a reasonable answer if you've never seen your chart before. Look at that, 23 degrees in Leo. Okay. So here's what's going to be happening. You have Uranus sitting at Gemini. You have a lot of stuff sitting here. And the third house cusp line is sales. Just saying. But you need contracts usually. You do have Uranus energy in the 7th house. You're going to have it in your 3rd. Interesting. Wow, you even have Venus up there in air, and Aquarius conjunct the North Node. A lot of air. So yeah, the sales and supporting something would be a thing here. So is this a partnership? Meaning, does it depend on somebody else as well? Agreeing and going forward with the sale? Is that the kind of a thing for you? You haven't seen your chart before. That's fine. Yeah. So if you haven't seen your chart before, what makes this difficult? Not that it's difficult to read, but it's the accuracy. We want to make sure this is your chart. And the only way to usually do that is for me to talk to you about what I see in your birth chart, which is basically just talking to you about you. And then you saying, oh, yeah, that sounds like me. Or you being like, oh, no, I don't think that's me. Then we know we got the wrong chart if the shit doesn't match. And this chart shows a person who would be very cautious with their money, but definitely always thinking about the long-term finances. Material financial security would be huge, and a hard worker and working towards those things. Desires, money, values. These people like nice things. It's very stabilizing energy. If this is your chart, you even have a strong creative signature here in your chart. Food can be a big thing as well because it's Taurus energy I'm staring at. And you even have Sirius in Taurus, and that's farming. Yeah. So you have Saturn trining the partnership energy, and then trining your 11th house, which talks about friends and group energy, social systems even, but my long-term commitments, what I'm building, what I'm working towards. Pretty serious energy. These people aren't going to play around when it comes to their money and their finances. This is when you would show your horns. If someone tried to mess with that, or cheating even, because Saturn's very serious and says we have to go by the book. So yeah, I see partnership energy pops up in a lot of ways here. So that was why I asked that question in the natal chart. So that could be through marriage, but it can also be professional. It can be both. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Okay. So you do need agreement. Okay. This is absolutely you then. Very good. Well, congratulations. Here's your birth chart. We can confirm it. I mean, it's just so obvious. Look at it, right? Yeah. You got just strong earthy energy, strong Taurus energy, but you got Pluto in the 7th house. So along with selling this business, is it to get away from the partner? I don't mean that in a mean way. Your Pluto in your 7th house says that if the partner can't grow with you, and growth requires change. So maybe it's not the only thing. Maybe it has to do with location. I don't know, right? But I'm staring at the Pluto that's jumping out, and Pluto requires change, and it should be deeply meaningful change. It can be intense change. You may even work with the public, actually. So because your Pluto is a moon degree, women energy, strong women energy, or the public, or both. But new and different, other than deep, intense changes, new partnerships is always a thing for you because you have Uranus in your 7th house. Now, government energy and contracts can be a part of this. So, with all that said, because I'm going down a astrology rabbit hole, there should be a better word for that. But the question was sales. Yes, the 3rd house cusp line is a big deal. Okay. That is the house of sales. So if the partnership is agreeing upon this, like if you get a good enough deal, you can probably swing it. I don't know how soon you're looking to do this, but the season of sales for you, yeah, did you just start thinking about this? You've got Mercury in the house of sales, in the location of sales. Mercury, maybe somebody made you an offer. You got Mercury on top of Juno. Maybe this is the partner you made a mention to, bringing that information up to them. You have a lot of really supportive energy here, though, because your Juno even has Mercury communicating with it all the time. Okay, this is coworker energy. Yeah, can be sibling. Wow, masculine energy possibly, but can also be female because you have that mixture there. But different, new, unconventional, something that can be creative even in partnerships. And you're definitely, yeah, Uranus is coming through your third house, and that says we're doing something different, and it's sales. And now you do have the contract energy in your 12th, I'm sorry, at 12 degrees in Uranus. So here's the thing. Uranus does a retrograde starting at 5. You have an object there. Oh, you have part of fortune there. The ability to be in the right place at the right time. Interesting. Yeah, Uranus begins its retrograde there. So, you kind of are already in this because Mercury's touching in, but you will really be seriously, if you're not on the market, then you will seriously be talking about it by the end of the month. And are you considering there's going to be a retrograding Cancer energy. So maybe it has to do something with home and family. Property is part of this thing, but Mercury's going to do a retrograde there through your 4th house. So maybe, yeah, the beginning of June, you'll have the sun connecting strongly with Uranus energy. So right at the end of May, going into June, and then you're even going to have Mars touching your Saturn at this time. You know what? You have one of those freaking charts where when shit's going to happen, it's like the shit just aligns and it happens. It's I don't want to say you don't have control because we have free will, right? But the beauty of astrology is understanding the cycle that you're in. And yes, you are in a cycle to sell your shit. You just are. Because there's a lot of support here of things. Communication and contracts and networking is huge. Business and sales. There's a lot of support here for that. Okay. So again, end of May, beginning of June, if we're not actively on the market, then we're actively talking about it. And I mean, usually Gemini energy is okay. We're booking, we're on with a realtor, and I don't even know how all that works nowadays anyway, but I think there's still such a thing as realtors and getting our shit on the market. Now, 23 degrees, your South Node was the first thing that jumped up. So, yeah. I don't know what kind of details you got to go through with the partnership and all of that. If it doesn't happen as fast as you want it to, for whatever reason, you will have, eventually, you're going to have a bigger event further along that dips into the, let me double check this, like the latter part of the year. Oh no, it's going to be 2027 by the time that gets there. Yeah. So there'll be another opportunity. If you don't get that taken care of this year, you'll have a big release and a big new beginning, and work is part of it. And because Uranus is not a fast mover, you'll still have it going through your 3rd house, meaning you'll still have the opportunity on the table. Okay. Okay. So let me see. I marked Stephen. Stephen, are you still here? Is Stephen here? Hello, Stephen, are you still here? So you're in a contract. Gotcha. You have a year left on it. Okay. All right. Well, then. Okay, Stephen's still here. All right, well, then I think I kind of covered all of it. Okay, so let's go. It's Stephen, what are we looking at? Since I know I have you here, what am I looking at in your chart? There we go. Oh, did it get on the screen? Not yet, but here it is now. All right, Stephen. Okay, well, Victoria, I hope that helps. Again, I'm here. Surprise lives at least once a week, usually on Tuesdays, sometimes some other days like today, every other Saturday on the channel. And then we also have private lives, which are I keep getting this wrong, but I believe they are the third Saturday of every month is a private live stream. It's a small group of people. It's limited spaces available. It's not on YouTube. It's private. Okay, so Stephen, let's get you on here. Yes, you are welcome. Yep, you are welcome. And thank you everybody who sent gifts to the channel. That helps people who aren't able to give. It helps people who it helps me to keep doing what I do. But it's the kind of pay it forward energy, where if people don't have any money to see an astrologer, which I realize astrologers are, you can't hook up with an astrologer for less than $300. So unless you got that kind of money to spend, right? Absolutely. All right, Stephen, what am I looking at here? Let me go check. Stephen's like, oh, I just want to look at the chart you got right there. Let me get familiar real quick with you here. 27, 29. Okay. Oh, wow. Interesting. You have Aquarius, Uranus in Aquarius, and you have it in your 5th house. So do you think astrology is fun? But you have the South Node right next to it. Superpower energy, which is, yeah, that North Node, that Leo energy, wanting to be creative and to stand out from our creativity even, but having to go solo possibly, and having almost even possibly a solo type of path. Because even if I get creative, does that mean my creativity is, But yeah, you got that strong tech energy in your chart. I remember this chart. That super psychic 0 degrees Scorpio moon. So Stephen's like, yeah, I'm here, but I'm not telling you what to focus on. Okay, that's okay. I can do that. I don't think we've talked about the big ass kite in your chart, have we, Stephen? Just saying. So you have this big kite, and it has to do. This can be pets, by the way. Virgo energy at 26 degrees. That does talk about making money energy. It's in the 12th house. It can be creative. You know what I think about when I see Virgo at 26 in the 12th house? Well, I don't really think about it. It just flashed in my head. I was shown who are those people that have those dogs, I guess. I don't know if I've ever seen cats do it. And they put them in a show and shit, right? Like, when is it? Every Thanksgiving, the big whatever show is on or whatever, and they win these awards, and the dogs are just freaking stunning, and they're amazing. They're amazing, right? You see how people walk their dogs down the street, right? But then you see these dogs and their owners, and it's like, how the hell do they do? It's not even a trick. It's just them walking or jogging with their owner, but not dragging them, right? It's like they're amazing, but they're like best class, best in show, or however that shit is, because it's a show. Pisces 12th house, and it's Virgo energy, and you have Venus even there. Ooh, wow, interesting. That's kind of a fascinating combination. Let me see. Where's your Mercury, though? Oh, creative Mercury in Leo. Okay. So 12th house can be healing, and it can be substances and medicines and stuff like that. But yeah, Virgo energy. So this is at the top of that kite for you. I would imagine if you love astrology, which I cannot imagine that you don't think it's fun with all that freaking Uranus energy in your 5th house. So fun. Yeah. And then Leo in the 11th, right? So it's fun. But I'm curious, yeah, what you make of your kite. 26 degrees, and it's your anti-vertex. So this is an interesting thing here, because a kite energy shows us how all the other players in the kite, your vertex in Pisces at 26, your Chiron at 27 in Scorpio, a wound from the past, traumatic wound from the past, maybe words, news, information. These are vulnerabilities, but there's usually a deep trauma connected with mind energy and speaking even. Sometimes these people might stutter, actually. That might be a thing. But it's a beautiful trine to your sun. This can have to do with learning and reading and writing, of course, too. But it's a beautiful trine to your sun. So these things are all part of this powerful kite that's made up of a grand creative water trine. But the top of the kite is where all of the grand water trine energy pours out of. So it gives it a focal point. So it's in the 12th house of creativity and connecting to the divine, connecting to God-like or God energy, connecting to creator, whatever you call that energy that you know is more than yourself. So whether you have faith or not, if you believe in something more powerful than self, that's 12th house. It's also karma. It's also past life energy. But when these folks go to sleep, sometimes their minds don't shut off because it's Mercury energy, and your Mercury's in Leo. So you probably get some really great ideas, really great creative ideas, visual energy, maybe even sound, actually. So the anti-vertex is supposedly your secondary descendant. Some call it a super descendant, a descendant meaning like partnership energy. I find that fascinating. It's at 26 degrees. So this can be overseas. Somebody who's a foreigner because it's in the 12th house. Somebody who's far away because it's in the 12th house. And that would be another way to utilize that kite, that watery creative energy. Now, I mention this because your goal is to kind of get away from the South Node technology, astrology. Like you've already done this in other timelines, or however you look at it, other lifetimes. You've already done the astrology thing. Yeah, you're an old pro at it. It's just there in the chart, right? So, this can also mean if you have children or anybody that's childlike or that you care for that's around you, that's children, people you teach, possibly even if you're a teacher. Yeah, there's like some history there with them too, or even unique art, right? Very unique, very creative. But the goal is to go forward with the uniqueness and the creativity, which steps kind of away from the technology. Not that we're throwing it out. We don't throw the baby and the bathwater out. We just change the bathwater and put the baby back in and give the baby a bath again, right? Yeah, that's what we're doing here. But I'm just, yeah, your vertex, anti-vertex in the 12th at a Venus degree, and you have Venus in the 12th, which means you would get lots of information that comes through in the dreams, in sleep. You may receive gifts that way. So those ideas, those downloads, whatever, but also in partnerships. And Virgo is also domestic energy. It's not just about pets, It's domestic energy. It is work. It is the job. It's my day-to-day routines, and it is my health. And these are healthcare, domestic workers in the home. This is also nurses, nursing, people who take care of the details, cleaning, organizing. Virgo steps in and says, first of all, it's the great analyzer, the great mind, right? It sees all the details. And it right away says, I can make this shit better. It's the fixer. It's the practical, logical fixer. It steps in and it says, I can make it better. It can be a perfectionist, and that would be difficult in your chart because you do have, you're going to have a strong inclination towards perfection because you have Venus in the sign of perfection. Virgo strives for perfection. And Venus, if she's not aware of herself, she can be striving for perfection as well. Plus, this is also Venus at the 26. And it's in the house of high ideals, of perfect. This is the exact placement when we have Virgo in the 12th of cleanliness is next to godliness, right? Yeah. So, don't know what your other job wants to be. But if you're not using that big kite where you have support from the universe to use that, and if it makes you a little bit uncomfortable, that's okay because you're supposed to be doing something that's a little bit uncomfortable. But joy and playfulness, allowing yourself some happiness to radiate warmth and vitality. So the life becomes less about hiding in the background and more about celebrating who you are. So if you already know who you are, that's the thing. At 13 degrees, it says, but I first have to learn who I am. So, I see you have some Capricorn in the 4th house. When people have Capricorn in the 4th house, sometimes home life as a child was very serious, very structured, very cold, rigid, disciplined. Mom was dad, dad was mom, right? Whatever, maybe one person, maybe one parent family possibly who had to play both roles. So we have to grow up fast sometimes when we have that. Yeah, that's possible. And so maybe connecting with the inner child is definitely, something that you need to connect with and do. And if you can do it professionally and weave it into something professional, then good for you. And good for you. But the 13 degrees is self. It is me leading, though. It's independent energy, especially in the 11th house. This says I need independence and freedom. Or at least I'm the one in charge. I'm the one leading the way. And Leo likes to step into the room and take charge. And you have a Mercury retrograde. So, yeah, that leans to taking charge in relationships, possibly professional relationships. It just says, and it's a freaking trine to your Pluto. Holy crap. Both retrograding, trining exactly. So this would say deeply meaningful, deep thinker. Pluto is not going to waste its words in the 3rd house. That's for damn sure. Yeah. That's for sure. So I hope this has helped. And that's it. We are past our time. If I didn't get to your chart, tomorrow night is the private lives, and it is already full. It's been full for a couple weeks already. But you can catch me on the next surprise live. I really, truly don't know when that will be. Maybe I'll have one tomorrow in the afternoon. Maybe I'll have one Sunday afternoon. Maybe Monday. Usually on Tuesday, right? But I really don't know when I'll have the next one. It really just depends on when the environment is right, and when the opportunity works and when the freaking internet is strong and coming through, right? Like all these little things that have to work. So in the future, you could always send me an email and have me put your digits into my system for the next time you do come live, because it makes it go a lot smoother. And for everybody who was here, who got a reading, who sent a channel gift, thank you so much. The channel gifts are great. It helps me to stay on this path of, yeah, we're doing some good. People appreciate it. And so we'll keep doing it. Right. So thank you so much. But yeah, if there's anyone here who didn't get their chart read, send me an email, come on back another time, and we'll pick back up again with the next surprise live. Okay. So next Saturday, we'll be on the channel Saturday night at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. There will be a live stream. And that one, because it's, I believe, the 5th Saturday of the month, I believe that one is Creator's Choice. So we'll see what we're doing. I don't even know what we're going to be doing then. It might be a little bit different setup than this because it's a weird Saturday. It's a 5th Saturday of the month. How often do we have that? So it's Creator's Choice. Obviously, it will be astrology themed, but expect it to be somehow different. All right. Take care, everyone.